I've got affidavit from my banking account. I want to bring her in. I want to press charges.
Channel 9 has learned that an intense fight right before Casey left with Kaylee in mid-June was over money that Casey had stolen from her own grandparents. Tensions had been building over the theft.
I need to bring someone into the police department. I have a 22-year-old person that has grand theft.
Relatives say Kaylee was much more attached to her grandmother than she was to her own mother.
She's been my joy for the last 3 years.
They needed some time to bond. Casey's 22 years old. She told me that she wanted some space. She wanted to go to work, and then she wanted to go take a little vacation and take Kaylee with her.
Casey and Kaylee left, and Cindy believed Casey kept Kaylee out of touch just to punish her.
Is he not telling you where her daughter is?
Correct.
They just want Kaylee back. That's all they're worried about right now.
Bonding. It looks like she was bonding with that stripper pole out at Fusion Bar. This is after little Casey allegedly went missing with the babysitter, Zenaida Gonzalez. There's her mom partying hardy. I want to go back to bounty hunter from Sacramento, California, Leonard Padilla. He first put up the bond to get Casey Anthony out from behind bars. She since went back and got out tonight. We're awaiting a re-arrest on additional charges. Leonard, I'm a little stunned by something you just told me. Now, true, in the past I haven't asked you the exact direct question to get this answer. I should know better. But please repeat for me what you just revealed regarding Cindy and George Anthony, the grandparents, being asked to give a polygraph.
We were sitting in the RV outside the house, and FBI, well, first of all, a Child Protective Services guy, we didn't know who he was, but afterwards we found out that's who he was, went in the house. And then subsequently, 3 or 4 individuals, including, according to Lee, FBI, went in the house and asked the family to take polygraphs. Cindy, the father, George, and Lee. Lee came out and said that that's what they had asked. He then immediately turned around, went back in, and then about 20 minutes later he came back out and said, no, we're not going to do that. We refuse to take him. And everybody commented on, well, you know, if you've got nothing to hide, what's the big deal? You know, the FBI is pretty proficient. A very good friend of mine, Jack Carmarco from way back, is a polygrapher.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know, you don't make mistakes. They know when there's a mistake made, so there's really nothing to fear. And it was very surprising and very odd to us that they would pass the opportunity up to be cleared by the FBI, because that's, in effect, what the FBI would do, would be clearing them. So that was strange. But let me bring something here, Nancy. You had Nate on there last night.
Right.
And on
Anthony's roommate during the time Kelly went missing.
Correct. On Casey's phone bill, there's a 24-hour period from the midday on the 28th to midday on the 29th when her phone is either disconnected, turned off, no calls. And that's very strange for her because she makes from 25 to 50 calls a day. Nate might know where she was during the period of time from midday the 28th till midday the 29th.
Mr. Padilla, do you have any idea why the searches have been called off, the searches for little Kelly, dead or alive?
Basically, my understanding is, and talking to some of the fellows that we were forwarding tips to, that there's no tips coming in that are making any sense.
You mean tips regarding her being alive?
Dead.
Anything. No tips whatsoever that make any sense.
No tips coming in that would place her anywhere dead or alive. That's why I'm reluctant to it. I question that there's any tips coming in that she's been seen, you know, in different places.
I asked the defense attorney last night about that. He would not tell me where. No. He said the police had asked him not to reveal that. Back out to the lines. Janet in Texas. Hi, Janet.
Nancy, thank you for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am.
Since Casey had said that she feels like her daughter's close by, I'm wondering, has the yard in the house been cleared? Because I know the cadaver dog had smelled something. And has the water bill of the grandparents been checked? I'm wondering if at any time the pool had been drained, and possibly the child could still be on the property somewhere, and then they refilled the pool. I'm thinking maybe under the pool or something.
To Natisha Lance, there at the Anthony home, what do you know?
Could you repeat the question?
Yes. Has the yard, the Anthony's yard, front and back, being cleared by police, essentially is the question.
Yes, it has, Nancy. The front and backyard have been searched numerous times. Both have been cleared by police.
And to famed forensic scientist Dr. Lawrence Kobylinski. Kobe, isn't it true that cadaver dogs are trained to smell, to detect human remains even in water?
Well, it's true. I mean, the dog has amazing capabilities, and these cadaver dogs are so highly trained, and I've heard over and over that they will not alert to animal remains, that they very specifically sense very specific chemicals that are synthesized as a result of human decomposition. So yes, they can smell these molecules that just come out of the water. They evaporate, and they can be detected by these dogs.
And that is in response to Janet in Texas' question, because even, for instance, a fire dog can smell accelerant underwater. They have to be able to at the end of a fire scene when water has been sprayed everywhere. Same thing with cadaver dogs. They do detect human decomposition even underwater. Translation, the pool would not have mattered. To the lawyers, Eleanor Dixon, Peter Odom, Mickey Sherman, you know, the defense attorney, Baez, keeps saying, I don't want her arrested again on these new charges. I want her to turn herself in quietly. Last time, he sent a fax to the jail. If you really want to arrange a surrender, Mickey Sherman, how do you do it in a nutshell?
I don't see the problem with sending a fax. The bottom line is he doesn't want a perp walk. He doesn't want a photo op so she can be paraded through the crowd again.
So is that how you communicate with the prosecution, with a fax? You don't call him, Mickey? Are you saying that with a straight face?
I would generally call him, but I don't think there's anything inappropriate in sending a fax.
Have you done it with a fax?
He could put it on Facebook.
Yes,
what's the difference?
No, have you?
Have I? I don't think so.
Okay, so you can't even say yes or no. Peter Odom, do you want to clarify?
I probably would have called the prosecutors, called the police, and arranged the arrest so there wasn't such a spectacle. Maybe he couldn't have handled it. Maybe he learned something from the experience, Nancy. Well,
at this juncture, I think I would want a lawyer and a PR firm that they weren't. I wasn't the test, Eleanor. That I wasn't the first try.
No, you're right, Nancy. She should just go over to the jail, turn herself in, and be done with it like a lot of other people do.
Any chance, Bethany Marshall, that she would turn herself in on these new charges?
I don't think so. And let's take a look at her behavior after her daughter went missing. She was on a stripper pole, dancing at her boyfriend's house, spending the night with him, cooking pasta, watching cable TV. For the love of a man. And what is she doing all day now?
Bethany.
Yes.
In the commercial break, this case makes me think of my own twins just incessantly. I was thinking about little Lucy had a little mosquito bite right here that wouldn't go away. And I keep thinking, what can I do to fix it? I can't imagine sitting through a pasta dinner that I cooked when I couldn't find Lucy. I can't even imagine it.
It shows you how corrupt her conscience is and how unable she is to attach to her own daughter. So think about it. She's sitting in Jose Baez's office all day long. How do you think someone this disturbed is translating or interpreting that experience? In her mind, she might even be on the endless date. This could be a very gratifying experience. Now she's away from her daughter. She doesn't have child care responsibilities. She gets to be a yakety-jack and tell her story all day long. For someone like that, that is much more gratifying than the love of her own child. So I think this whole thing works against her telling the truth rather than for it.
And I'll tell you who is suffering, and that's the grandparents. This child became their joy for all of these years, and I think that they are coping with this daughter the best that they can. Everyone, quick break.